Welcome to Exploring the Mystical Side of Life with your host, Michelle Aubin and Linda Lang.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm doing great, Linda. How you doing?
I had an amazing dream and I'd love to share it with you. And I think that you'll find it a bit amusing because it's cast me into some life experience that you're going through.
Oh, well, I love how you introduced that because my curiosity is really piqued right now. I mean, I don't even know what to ask, but just please share. That's all I would have to say.
Sure, absolutely. So it started by my request to my unconscious because it's been a while since I've actually had a dream. So I asked my unconscious to bring me a dream that had a message for me and that I would remember. You know, your unconscious mind is your humble servant. It willingly cooperated. I woke up in the morning with a really interesting dream. So in my dream, my oldest sister, who in real life is actually downsizing from her big house and moving into a small 2-bedroom. And so she's having to kind of go through furniture and household items and decide. So it's a task for her. In the dream, my husband and I were visiting her. Here she had all this stuff on her table that she was waiting to give me. She said, I have some things for you. And they included, some old gifts that people had given her, some gifts that I had given her years ago. And then she started handing me things like piles of window envelopes that had never been used, or half used pencils and old pens and makeup, all this stuff. And as she's handing me this stuff, I'm like, what is she holding on to this for? And what am I going to do with this? And this is going in the garbage. Like there were tons and tons and tons of things. And I know how hard it was for her, or is for her, to release her stuff. So I didn't want to actually say, oh, this is going in the garbage out loud. These were just thoughts I was thinking in my mind as I had the dream. And when I woke up, I had the understanding that it's now my turn to go through my closets, through my drawers. But have I gone through my desk and looked at what pens I have that don't work, or half-used pencils and my makeup drawer? And I'm going through my closets and my drawers now. And my intent is to give 20% away. Out it goes.
Wow. It's contagious.
Apparently. And it's kind of funny. In numerology, I'm in a 9-year, and 9 years letting go of the things you don't want to carry into your next year, which is your 1 year, because if you do, you hold that energy for the next 9 years until you can let it go.
Really? So the 9 is like, here's your window of opportunity to start fresh.
To release so that next year you can start fresh.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's the purging
It's the
year.
purging year. Absolutely. Energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally. It's been quite an adventure. I actually started with my desk. What do I need 100 different pens for? I don't need that much stuff.
I went through the pen thing and I was like, keep the best ones. Like there's some that are really great writing and others just don't feel as good. Like it's so like such a little thing, but if you have 40 pens, keep 20 that are the best pens. It's a funny
Absolutely.
idea.
I thought you would be amused that it is contagious. And this is the message from my unconscious mind, which communicates with my higher self.
Well, I am amused, and I'm also amused in the fact that there are a lot of people I know who are not necessarily aware of like the astrological energies or spiritual energies that are happening, and they're purging. And some of it's happening in a crisis mode. Like, for example, last year, someone I know who had the tendency to hold on to a lot of things found out he had bed bugs, and he had to get rid of everything. And he got rid of furniture, clothing, bedding, and started fresh.
Wow. Talk about the bright side of bed bugs.
Yes, and I would not say it was a happy experience for him. And there was, anxiety, stress, frustration, and it was playing out as a crisis. This has to be dealt with. You have no choice, kind of thing. And it's a year later, and everything's fresh. Everything's kind of starting from a clean slate.
And it's probably something he wouldn't have been able to do on his own.
That's very possibly true, right? And then I know other people that are friends of mine, and I'll tell them my big purge, and they're like, I'm doing the same thing. I'm obsessed, and I organized all of my kitchen stuff. And it's sort of a topic that a lot of people are doing. Like, my sister's been doing this for a year or so, like repainting and constantly decluttering. And I wonder if it's related to all of the talk about the energies that are coming to Earth, these kind of planetary energies, and we're all clearing on some level. And maybe it's related to the weather patterns, the extreme weather. The weather is a crisis, but it's a clearing as well. And I don't know enough to speak about that beyond just kind of questioning the interrelatedness of it all. But when I pull back and I go, I just see a lot of this happening for people. And when you do it like you are, you're like, okay, subconscious, what do I need to know? And then you follow what it tells you, you're in alignment, and you can do it in a way that isn't a crisis and doesn't feel stressful, even though it might on some level be a little bit, which pen do I keep, which makeup,
It's been super easy. And so I've done my desk, and I haven't done my makeup drawer yet, but I've started my clothing closet. It almost feels like I'm a different person. I've got probably maybe a third of it done, because you have to try everything on, and does this feel good or does it not feel good?
So you are a new person. So what happens when you put on that clothing and it used to be okay and now it's not okay? What does that feel like?
Energetically uncomfortable, I would say. And for people who don't know what that means, it's like it fits, but I don't know if I really like it, and I don't know if I feel really good in it. And then I just go into my heart space and see, we do have emotional ups and downs. I go into my heart space and see, is this something that will bring me joy, or something that I need to hold on to? My process is a little bit different than that. I take it and I go into my heart and I make a pile of yes and no, don't keep, and a maybe one. And anything that I haven't worn in the last year, I'm trying on. And it's so crazy because I have this blazer and I tried it on, and the sleeves are too short, but I haven't had it dry cleaned or anything. So like, my arm screw, what's that,
That's really funny.
It's very, very bizarre. So the blazer is going, and it's just some things that I've kept for a long time that are now, they just don't feel the same.
For me, it's when I put it on and I go, this doesn't really feel like me. That can be tricky because, like a blazer isn't something you wear all the time unless you have an office job. The dressier items, the formal items, I keep those probably longer than I should.
I think it really helps to keep us fresh and inspired in our life when we dress how we like to feel.
Yes, and the caveat for me is that a lot of times how I like to dress is casual, and I sometimes need to challenge myself to like perk it up a notch. I have a category of clothes that I call house clothes. And I think about the old days when my grandmother would wear a house dress, right? And she would, she would like cook and clean, and that was what she wore most days because if you get something on it, that's okay, and nobody was going to see it except family, right? So I don't have house dresses or aprons, but I have house t-shirts. And if I get something I'm cooking and it doesn't bother me, right? But when I go out, I need a nicer, comfortable shirt. So we save the nicer, comfortable clothing for public errands and things. And I don't know if that really serves me.
I'm totally with you, Michelle. It's actually too funny because I have, I guess, house clothes too that I'll wear around the house, and my husband and I go for a walk, I'll even change, my big old baggy sweatpants
Yes.
and big old baggy t-shirts and sweatshirts, and just because they're so comfortable. So yeah, if they're good for your soul, even if you wear them at home, I think it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can have cute house clothes too, though, right? Like that's
Oh,
my
for sure.
it's okay to be cute at home. So in some ways, it's like interesting in the modern era, we don't have a lot of the rules that other generations did about clothing. And I remember in the 60s, and I was born in the 60s, but I remember like this sort of holdover from the 60s where my aunts would have gloves and matching hats. And there were a lot of rules about what it meant to be put together and dressed. And we don't have all that. So it can be a little kind of challenging sometimes to figure these things out. Like, how casual is too casual? But it's freedom too. We're making them for ourselves. We're making these rules.
So I remember it back in high school. I was born in the same era, early 60s. And my God, if our bra strap showed in
Oh,
school, it was like, humiliating. And now, I mean, there's bras that are everyday outside your clothes wear.
meant to be
It's,
seen.
yes, meant
Oh
to
yeah,
be
we had
seen.
to wear pantyhose. You weren't dressed if you didn't have pantyhose. That whole thing, when that went out the window, like wow, that's a that was a big one. That was a big one
Yeah, for sure.
in
Although I
my.
would say pantyhose can keep you warm when it's cool outside.
But
Yeah,
they're not mandatory anymore. Oh my gosh,
totally,
this is so
totally.
funny. So congratulations on your project of just evaluating everything and does it stay, does it go? What a fun thing.
Yeah, it is fun actually. I'm making it fun, and I'm viewing all the things that I wouldn't let myself let go of from a different place. So it is definitely freeing. Now it's choice whether I keep it and not, well, I might need this, or I feel obligated because someone gave it to me, or because it belonged to someone else who's passed over and I love them, so I have to keep their stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but what I've noticed is I just got rid of the final piece of furniture that was given to me that I did not buy myself. And what ends up happening is everything I've kept are things I bought for myself years ago, mostly shelves and lightweight furniture is what I tend to buy for myself as an adult. I haven't had to buy that kind of thing for a while. It's just one by one, I got rid of all these big pieces because they were too big. And I'm looking around and I'm like, wow, look at what's left. I interpret that as a vibrational match. The things people gave me or the things I might have felt like I needed it. I didn't have an armoire, so I got this armoire from someone. What remains now, it's just kind of amazing to me. I'm like, wow, you maybe were not a vibrational match to those gifts of furniture that never felt like you.
Now, to be fair, gifts of furniture can. Like, I'm a great proponent of secondhand things in order to reduce the footprint on the earth and manufacturing and, having to have everything new. So it is possible to be given things that are really actually a better resonant fit for you than the person that had it.
Yes.
But it's the wisdom to know when it's time to let it go to the next person.
The caveat I will say is that the one piece of furniture I did keep was a gift from my sister, which is a couch. And it's perfect for me. And she kind of really understood, oh, this is Michelle's style. She got it right on. But all of these other storage pieces of furniture were just too big. And I, in the past, have been a little bit nomadic and moved around a lot. And as it turns out, that's the furniture I like. I just want to ask you, are you evaluating your furniture?
Not yet, but I'm definitely doing drawers,
Yes.
closets, and I've done, things like knickknacks and decorative things before. So everything I have from that point of view is okay. However, after I go through my drawers and closets, who knows? I mean, it can shift. When you shift things like that, it actually creates space not just in your environment, but inside you.
Are you experiencing a parallel of other things that you are releasing that are not tangible items?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I work very closely with my guides, and they've been helping me do a very similar process on my inner world and releasing beliefs and old emotions that I didn't even know I was holding on to. And they've been waking me up through the night. So not every night, thankfully. I'll have a night on and then I'll get to sleep for a night and then they'll come again. But yeah, it's a real pivotal time of transformation for me as for many other people.
Oh, yeah. Because I think that's what this is really about, is not just physical stuff, but all the other stuff we carry. Is there an example you'd feel comfortable talking about, like if they woke you up one night and you had an insight?
For sure.
All right, because I'm curious, like what is that process like for you? And
well, I think I've shared with you that my guides woke me up one night and gave me a program, which I'm going to be facilitating for people. It's called Master Your Money Mind. And they gave me the modules, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. And they woke me up one night this week and told me to do module 3 on myself. And I'm like, it's late. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I go to bed pretty early. Thank goodness I got a couple hours of sleep. But, I did module 3, and it's all about cleaning the mind out of limiting beliefs, releasing vows of poverty, releasing vows of humility, releasing all of these things. And we do it energetically. And so the shift in energy is so palpable. It's like tangible. And you don't even have to know, where those things came from. But just that shift of energy, and it was like, holy smokes. I mean, it was just incredible. We probably worked from 1 till probably 4 in the morning. And then I got a couple hours of sleep after that. And I felt different. And some things, shifted in my life that had nothing to do with money, which was really interesting. But as you shift your beliefs, your vibrations shift. I mean, your whole world shifts, really.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to facilitate this program for others because it's blowing my socks off.
I love that you are going through it at their behest. They're saying, not only are we giving you this program, you're going to go through it too and experience it. So it's great.
It's the best way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Well, on that note, I think this is time to wrap up this episode. And maybe what we can invite the listeners to do is if you are hearing this and you're going through some processes of letting go in your life, send us a note. Type in the comments. We're going to post this on our Facebook page. And we like to hear about what you're releasing too and what's happening in that process for you all. So.
Fantastic.
All right, so we're going to sign out, and this is Michelle Aubin, and goodbye for now.
Bye for now.